Alright students, so learning to watercolor paint in the art room. You can see I have several supplies set up here. I have my artwork, I have my color wheel, which I'll explain here in a second, and then what I have over here is what you're going to get first. In the classroom I have these water dishes. You're going to need one of those. What I don't have that I'm presenting here are the blue trays. So you're going to get a blue tray that is going to be your mixing palette like I've started here, but get one of the blue trays. You're going to get one of the paint palettes, and then you're going to get the brushes you need that are specific to the spaces you're painting. So you want to get the appropriate size brush. You can see here I have a couple of brushes, and they're of two different sizes, for one small size for small spaces and one larger size for larger spaces. So whatever spaces you are painting, you don't want a big brush for a little space or a little brush for a big space. That doesn't make any sense. You want to get this size appropriate brush. Probably don't get more than two. You can always come up and exchange, but if we take too many, then there won't be any left for other students. Okay? So I have all these supplies and a paper towel as needed. When you get these things, you're going to have a seat, you're going to have your artwork, and you're going to then pick out the first place you're going to paint. So you can see here I have what would look like a shirt stencil, pile of shirts sitting here. I've started to paint them, but I'm adhering to a color scheme. So I want you to try to do a planned out color scheme when doing your painting. And the easiest way to do this color scheme I want you to follow is called the analogous color scheme. But to make it more simple, if you've never heard of that, what you want to do is in each area, so if you're painting your hair, you're starting in your hair area and you want to paint that first, you're going to pick out just a small section of the color wheel that you're going to paint. So what I did was I went ahead and I'm going to do this section right here for where the shirts are. So you can see I've already got a couple colors that are more in this area. I can work my way around to blue. So I'm trying to stay with one section of the color wheel. Now when I move on to a different area, I can switch my color scheme so that the colors change from area to area. And this is highlighted if you go into Schoology and you see the examples in the watercolor, the Georgia O'Keeffe file. You'll be able to see there what that color scheme looks like if you organize it a little bit better than just painting any color anywhere. Now, one thing you can also do when you choose your section is you can add in all your neutrals wherever you want. So you can use black, brown, white, and gray. Those are your four neutrals. Remember, black and white make gray. You can add those anywhere. So even if I'm using these colors here and I kind of run out or it's not as exciting as I want it to be, I can add these colors in. Especially white works really good with lightening colors up and making some pretty cool colors when it comes to watercolors themselves. Okay? So after I choose the color scheme, I start figuring out what colors I'm going to paint in which area. Then I'm going to grab a little bit of water, and you can see I got my water dish here and good clean water in there. If you need to change your water often, please do that. What I've done is I've went ahead and added water to the blue, and I don't want to mix inside of my color palette here. I want to simply take the color and put it on the tray like so. Okay, so I got a good amount of blue there. I'm going to wash my brush out like so. I want a good clean brush. If that water is still pretty clean, and it is, and then I'm going to go get my other color, and that's going to be red. So I add some water to the red, squish it around, and there's my red. Okay? I think I have a good amount of paint, so I don't need to get any more paint. So now I can do my mixing. So you can see I already mixed. That color right there was a little bit of blue and some black in it. I am now just going to do a lot more blue into the red. Oh, there we go. Nice purple color. Let's make it a blue or purple. So I'm going to keep adding more blue. You can see how that color changes. And that's sticking inside of that one section of the color wheel from blue to red, even to red-orange. All of those, that's what I want to do in just my shirts area. Now I'm going to go in and go ahead and paint. Now, when painting with watercolors, I recommend, and I've seen students do really good with, outlining the space first. So I'm going to try to outline it first, like so. And this is almost too big of a brush for the area that I'm painting. It's okay, but if I go into any smaller spaces, I'm going to want to get that smaller brush. There. And as soon as you outline, you can start filling in where you've outlined. Like so. And if I need more paint, of course, come over and get it. Just like so. Paint as needed, and I can fill in the middle spots there. Boom! Done with that one. Okay? One thing you don't want to do when getting paint is you want to be very careful not to contaminate the colors. Let me show you an example of a contaminated color. Here's another palette that I have that has white in it. And you can see that looks like maybe some of this purple or dark navy blue has got into that white. And when that happens, it's not good for mixing those colors or trying to get a true color that you want. Yeah, it's just, so if that happens, just be very careful. Try not to let it happen, but if it happens, I'll clean it out later. Or you can use a brush with some clean water and try to pull some of that out. But that's the idea. Nice clean water inside of here keeps these nice and fresh, and then you can do all your mixing on the tray. Alright, so I cleaned out that white, added a little white here and made a light purple just to give you one more perspective of another space. And one thing you don't want to do is paint two of the same colors right beside each other. So you can see that original purple color I modified. Now I'm able to paint right beside that original purple, and you can see those colors are different. And if they're different and they're not, and they're touching each other, that's what you're shooting for. So you can see, try mostly, I outline the space, then there we go. Okay, so I will continue this till I finish it, just like you. Now when I move on to another section, if this is where I had my hair, when I move on to another section, I'm going to choose a different part of the color wheel. And I can tell you, my next steps are probably going to be on the complete opposite end. I'm going to do some yellows, oranges, and greens. And that will be maybe in the next piece that I do here. Alright, so when you're all finished, make sure that you clean out your paintbrushes, put them in the can where you got them, brush up so the brushes don't bend, rinse them out really quickly. Make sure you rinse out the tray and the water dish and put the paints back. Be careful, usually there's a little bit of paint in here that's wet. Don't tilt them and spill them. We want to save that paint if we can. And you could put, if there's no standing water on your painting, and then you can put it inside of the drawer. Just be careful not to, if it's drippy, don't let it drip. All right, thank you very much.